Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're going to be playing a little more Star Citizen. Hope all you citizens out there are having a good day. We're going to continue on with the Wikelo missions. We just started it last night. I did it off stream, and I just want to continue with this quest line because they got some pretty cool, unique loot that you can get that has different skins preloaded. Eventually, when you get to vehicles as rewards, they have certain weapon systems and upgrades to them already in. So, all right, let's jump into the gameplay here. And we already got it up and running. So let me just check my inventory. Okay, so this is going to be for the second mission right here. So let's go to our contracts, make sure the contract is active for Wikelo. Accepted. Okay, it cleared it out. So we'll relaunch it. And it needs one berry blend smoothie and the fat-free ice cream, which I already have in my inventory. Did a little bit of pre-farming when I was at one of the stations. I saw it was there. So let's hit up Wikelo. We'll bring up our Avenger Titan.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
That way, we're a little smaller, a little more mobile, get in and out of situations. Get a little better prepared for interdiction, just in case somebody wants to attack us.
Please visit us again.
After we do this one Wikelo mission, hopefully it'll take... I tried doing it last night off stream, but for some reason there might have been an issue with the server and putting it down in his elevator, because I don't know if anybody's familiar, but Wikelo has his own cargo elevator, and that's where you place the items to send down to him, and then he gives you his the rewards.
You're all set to go.
Launch complete.
Let's get up an atmosphere.
Looks like you're on your way.
I tend to play Star Citizen with a combination of controller and mouse and keyboard and things like that. When I want to be lazy for a couple of minutes and just just use some free flight stuff here. But the game is very complex, and in a way, it's almost too complex to be easily done with just a controller and the key bindings and key mappings and things like that. So, all right, we should be out of atmosphere now. So we will examine, and I think the closest one is going to be. Station. Now, this is a bug. Even though it says it's 45.86 gigameters, it is not. It's like 6.7 to like 7. I'm going to send a report into CIG that they need to fix this, because you can see it's right here. It's you got that mapped. Should be, I think, this one over here. Oh, that's the Dossie station. That's even closer. That's okay. We'll go to this one over here. 36, 56. Oh, they did fix it. Oh, see, why does it say DOS? It says 2 Dossies. Okay, they must already be working on fixing it, because It did not say that last night. It had their each individual names. Now they all say Dasi. They're probably running through the star map.
Initiated.
Because since everything is physicalized with, actually traveling through the space right now, this is not a load screen. Like, I can literally jump out of hyperdrive right now. So it's not like, certain other games where everything is just a loading screen. They're going to have to make sure that, all the values are correct along with the names and things like that. Because it will have an effect on everything else around it.
Quantum travel complete.
Part of that. It's a very beautiful game. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. If you guys have watched any of my other streams, I'm an old guy gamer. I've been gaming since Atari 2600. So it's so for some of the the fine adjustments and things, I do use mouse and keyboard. So let's put a request in, open those bay doors, put down our landing gear.
So sorry. Having comms issue. But you want to land. Wait a bit. Go, land, please.
Hopefully I can turn this stuff in now. It was a little frustrating last night after doing the first one.
Landing gear retracted. Landing gear deployed.
It was a little annoying. I was all hyped up, excited that got the first mission done. That way, it opens up his gameplay loop, and then this right here was like, oh nope, nerf, done. Sorry, buddy. Get this centered. Meter touchdown.
Complete.
Sorry. Very busy right now, but invite you. Look around.
So this is how you gain favors with him and get scripts and things like that, which are given in for his rewards. And then he has his emporium in there. Maybe I'll take a quick run around there to show you guys, what this is entailing. Hopefully this works. I really hope it does. I tried it like 6 times last night, but it just wasn't working. Okay, let's go to inventory here. And we will split and give 1 and 1. Send this elevator down. There we go. On Wikelo, I have a tendency to stay inside the warehousing screen until completion. Nice. Now I got a purple hat. So I got a black black hat and shirt last time, so now I get a purple. So we will we'll move these over to actually I wonder if that I wonder if you can not physicalize them and take them from the kiosk.
But not too big. Wikelo, understand. I've been watching human spectrum shows.
Okay, so they're physicalized there. I wonder if I send this elevator down, then I can just put them inside of my backpack for easier use. That way I don't have to load them into the cargo of my ship. And well, I'm fairly new, so I'm trying to, you know, learn the system. Boom. Nope. Nope. Okay, so we got to take them on, you know, in a physical form. All right. Ramp. The game still is an alpha. I have a tendency to try to put as least amount of things on the ground as possible. There have been instances where the world just swallows it up. You know, it's not just this game. I've had it in. You know, right now I'm playing the alpha of, or the beta of Grounded 2. And my buddy and I were doing it, and we, you know, got a unique item, one of the unique weapons that we found that are non-craftable. And, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, let's go over here to a nice flat space so I can drop it so he could pick it up and put it in his inventory. And Murphy's Law, I said that, and it dropped through a perfectly flat piece of landscape and just whoop, into the ether. Okay, we'll place this down right here. Then we'll go get the hat. I like this stuff that is unique to, you know, not being able to be bought or, you know, found or looted or things like that. I get a kick out of stuff like this because, you know, I used to play a lot of Sea of Thieves, and that was one of the things in the game that I found to be, you know, really cool. Like, you knew what somebody had accomplished in game based on, you know, what they were wearing or what sails they had or what hull they had on their ship or their capstan or... You knew who was grinding things and then who just had ended up, you know, buying them in like an in-game shop or something like that. That one right there. Yeah, let's go check out the Wikelo store for a minute here. It's just a really cool place. Looks like I'm a little bit hungry. Okay, the air is safe to breathe in here. Take my helmet off and have a burrito. I ate that burrito, but for some reason it didn't bring up my fishing value in any way. Hopefully the server isn't lagging. So you can see they got lots of cool trinkets and things to look at. I'm hoping a lot of this stuff is, you know, physicalized to actually buy. I mean, like here, you can do the armor sets. This is definitely one of the armors I'm looking at. Um, you know, and different weapons and things like that. But, you know, stuff like this, these little glasswares and things, I would love to put those, you know, once, you know, home crafting and base building comes into the game. Place those around. You know, be able to get these to, you know, put inside of your spaceship, because, you know, I do have the Hermes, and it does have a brew station set up, cooking area.
Ingredient posted if you want one.
This one I really like, but it's a medium armor, I believe. I like heavy armor. I'm very new in the game. I like the, you know, the 40% damage reduction, and, you know, that's temperature protect. Ooh, what was that? Oh, up there. That was one of the first missions right here. You had to get 5 of those guys' horns. So I went out on Microtech and plucked 5 horns away, and I think it was a water also he wanted. And that initiated the whole thing to be able to continue with his missions. You can see they got lots and lots of cool gear. So it, you know, it'll fit your taste to, you know, however you want to look. And it, you know, ships here too. You know, the Guardian, Zeus. And then you just go to the little kiosk here where it says, boom, accept contract, and then it'll tell you what you need for, you know, that specific item. The armor I really want is this one up here. I'm gonna have to do some. Is my light on? No, it's not. It's this one right here. That is cool as hell. But I'm gonna have to do some of the ASD Onyx missions to get the Geist armor, and then a bunch of the ASD cards, I believe it is. So, you know, it gives me something to work towards. You know, a specific goal. Those things would be cool. Really cool to,
Nice, yes. I make it. Really pretty, yes. Solid build, but also fun to make.
That's up.
If you like, I can make for you.
Yeah, let's head out of here. We'll head back to New Babbage and drop these things off in the elevator. And then also maybe pull out the Hermes. Maybe we'll do one of the first Onyx missions, see what we can get for loot.
Which true leaf? Yes, I find right button.
Engines online.
Everything good now.
Launch
Bye.
complete. Landing gear.
Safe living human.
Star map here. Loot. Oh, it did not root. Okay. We'll do microtech instead, since that's where it is. And now let's see if this will root. That didn't root either.
Shields offline.
That should be microtech up here, right? Yep.
Optimal travel initiated.
Well, I'm glad that mission accepted. That was really cool. It was a little frustrating last night having it on me. You know, and sometimes, like you saw, I'll buy 2 of each item, you know, to turn in just because of you know, possible floor glitching and things like that.
Quantum travel complete.
Okay. Let's look for New Babbage. Over.
Optimal travel.
You know, after a while, you kind of get used to, you know, where each, you know, planet is in the Stanton system. Now, I have not left the Stanton system at all. This has been my entire gameplay of just getting used to the controls. You know, this game doesn't really give you, you know, any hand holding. You know, you're there to figure it out on your own. And, you know, even something like the keybinds, you know, it takes a while to memorize the keybinds. But, you know, it's wholly worth it. You know, the experience of this game is just phenomenal. Okay, there's the station below us.
Shields online.
Jump out of nav mode. Before I get out of this vehicle, let me get some landing services, make sure she's topped off with weapons and fuel. Go.
Systems offline.
Nope, nope. We got the mining module on. We'll go with the big max lift here. This ship has a very NASA feel with this paint scheme on it. I do have 2 other paint schemes that came with the purchase for the digital rights for the game, because that is one of the starter ships. I think it was $60. You can buy in for less. I think the least expensive ship is $45, and that'll get you into the game. I mean, it's still less than the cost of a AAA title. So I was like, okay. And I had watched enough videos and enough, people playing the game. Enough people playing the game to know that I was pretty much going to enjoy the game. I don't really go by reviewers or reviews, because I gotta be honest, a lot of people are like, oh, Star Citizen's a scam. It's it's this, it's that. It's never gonna come out. It's not a scam. I mean, you see me playing it right now. Do they sell expensive ships? Yes, but that's how they're that's how they're continuing development on the game. And when people look at the money that this game has put in, well, look at the complexity of the game. You don't have loading screens every time you move in and out of something. It's all physicalized, it's all realized. It's multiple servers connected in a mesh that are ensuring that everything is in real time.
Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to look at something. Why that burrito did not satiate me. Another one? No. You know what? Here. Let's have the other ice cream since we finished that Wikelo mission. Okay, that one did. I'm pretty sure I have some foods. Yep. Energize and hydrate. have swore I had a couple of like candy bars and things like that. Let's see if this gives me any kind of a, a boost. Yep. Yes, it did. By the way, CIG, you need to put some trash cans inside these hangars here. As you can see, I'm collecting bottles right here. That's how I'm going to decorate the whole outside rail. Yeah, see, now notice I put it over there, but it's right there. But if you watch later on when I leave and then I come back, it'll actually be over there. So, now that that is stored... Oop, I didn't want that, I wanted F1. Now that that is stored, let me go to my vehicles and see the Avenger Titan. I did have some equipment things. You know what? Yeah, let's equip that livery. We'll put that green and red on. Propulsion systems. Equip the vapor block. Those are higher coolers. Because every time you encounter a new update from 4.6 to 4.7 to 4.8, it the power plant, I believe that was the Lumicore, was the better one. And then my quantum drive. I want to say the Tarsus Voyage was also the higher one. I just had the regular Bulwark. Did not change any of the cannons or anything. I have not bought any of those. I'm going to keep the rhinos. Or, I mean, the flash fire. Alright. So we changed our livery, saved all that, so next time we bring that up in the update, it'll be in its proper color. Alright, let's make a little bit of money here. I'm working towards the Cutlass Red. That's probably going to be my daily for missions that entail ASD, Onyx missions, bounties, things like that. That way I have, a respawn point because, not being very good at the game yet, I need a little bit of cushion. So if I happen to die or make a stupid mistake, like say, don't put my helmet on and choke out in atmosphere in some planet, then I could just respawn there. Lights, please. And this is the RSI Hermes. Make sure, yep, see, I didn't have my helmet back on. See, that's what I mean. Stupid stuff like that. And this is my primary ship that I use for my cargo loop. It's 288 SCUs of cargo here on grid. You can fit up to close to 500. You can also line the center, and it is enough to fit, a 32 SCU cargo in the center, and then just load up 32s on either side. So its cargo capacity is quite heavy. The more you carry, the more you make. And this is where the components are on the ship. And this is the small living quarters. 2 beds, a little bit of mini storage over here. Small dining area. This is the cooking station that, isn't physicalized yet, but it will be. And then, a fully operational restroom, shower, all that stuff. So you can keep up hygiene and things like that. Shower up there. But that stuff is not in the game yet.
Welcome to Onyx Spacing Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
You are all cleared to leave.
Take off. President.
This game does a very good job of having weight and feeling to the ships. This feels considerably heavier, as it should. All the ships have different pitch, yaw roll values, and that gives them a very good feeling in flight.
Thanks for visiting. Hope you enjoyed your stay and safe travels.
We'll get up to atmosphere. We'll check out the contracts that they have for hauling. Since this update, there has been some quirkiness with the elevators. A lot of times the cargo just will not show up to be able to bring up to load onto your vehicle, so it's kind of hit and miss. I find stations picking up are much more effective than things that are on planets or moons. So we'll see if we can get something maybe from Port Tressler right here up in the upper left-hand corner. Maybe there'll be a mission from there where we can do a pickup or forest station or... Okay. So we'll go down here to contracts and offers. And we'll do some planetary. Hey. A small one for 61k. That's pretty easy and quick. Yeah, see? Port Tressler. There we go. We'll accept that.
Shields. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Shields are on.
Even in its state with the bugs and everything like that, this is pretty handily my favorite game right now. I'm just enjoying the exploration, the different mission types. If I want to go into combat and do a merc mission or engage in first-person shooter combat, then it's there. Or, just run around and explore and go see, the planets that are, in the Stanton system. Or, maybe do a little bit of mining or hand mining. I don't have any mining ships yet. I'm looking at what is it? It's made by Drake. I think it's the Golem. A nice single player, single crew ship, so I can engage in some of the mining, because those are the main gameplay loops that are going to be interesting to me. Making money, things like that. There is a bug with this game where sometimes you will lose all sound as far as the RSI Hermes is concerned with its engines. So you might notice that on stream. It's something new that's just occurred with this patch.
Landing gear deployed.
Swing this girl around a little bit so we can get a proper view. A little bit more. Kind of lined up with the secondary freight elevator. Makes loading and unloading a little bit easier. The RSA Hermes can fit inside of these size hangars from tip to tail, so you can do a full 360. Cool. Let's lower it. We can load it on. Now, instead of using my max lift tractor here, I'm going to show you guys one of the easier ways to load cargo, especially with the Hermes. It does have a tractor beam as part of its loadout kit, which sits here on this center rail above us. So, power down the ship, power on the lift, and go into the turret. Oh. So by hitting S, that's how you move forward and back along the rails, and then you just guide the ship. Latch on. It's kind of counterintuitive to move it from front to back. You would think, they would, WS, would be, front to back and things like that. But that's not the case. It's only S. It's just an interesting, fun game loop. I really enjoy this because it allows me the exploration that I crave in games. Along with some money making and some things like that. One more and we are good to go. So we got Stanton 4 production complex and the Sakura Sun for our deliveries. We will check and see once we get up in the air what the best routing is to tackle this mission and get paid. Look. Yep, we are clear.
Engines are on. Takeoff complete. System critical.
System overheating. Uh-oh. What do we have here? Oh, we don't have our coolers online. There we go. Wow, wonder why they turned off. I sure as hell didn't do that. Might be a bug to where, or not a bug, but an unintended consequence for using the lift. It might just shut the entire system down. Engineering isn't the game. You can have, unit failures for, your power plant, your weapons, your things like that, so. That's 2 megameters. What's that one? 2 megameters. I also don't have any shields. Let me check this really quick on my power management. Yep, no shields.
Shields are off.
One more pip. Let's take this one down one.
Shields are on.
I have no componentry whatsoever upgraded in this ship. It's not gonna work. So just first jump to microtech. Get just above atmosphere.
Auto drive is now on. Auto drive is now on.
Now it should allow us to jump to specific points.
Auto drive is now on.
If you do want to play this game with a controller, it is possible with an Xbox controller and the Xbox gamepad, because then that gamepad will allow you to do a lot of the functions that you do on a keyboard, since it has, you know, the chat pad right below it. So, you know, you can do, you know, F and things like that.
Shields are on.
Yeah, because when you do F, that's kind of like your free look, where it, you know, it allows your mouse to go up, or Z allows you to, you know, or Z is your free look. F is mainly used on all elevators and, you know, to push buttons and things like that. Like if I want to go down to my pips here and, you know, say I want to change this, you just hold F. You know, let's put it on our. There we go. Just in case you don't have any repair ability, you do over on the pip on the right. If you see up in the top, it says repair all. You get one of those free, so then you can limp yourselves to a station. You know, say if you have, you know, an overheating issue or you know, possibly, you know, critical failure of a component. That is not going to say if you lose an engine, like you'll see here on the Hermes here, my engines, you know, they do have the ability on the left and right to be, you know, completely blown off the ship, which will, you know, create quite the difficulty for flying. Not so much in space because, you know, no gravity and things like that, but once you hit atmosphere, Godspeed for you to control it, get it into a hangar to get it repaired at an actual, you know, hangar. When you do deploy your landing gear, it does drop your speed significantly and put you on a speed limiter, but you are still able to use boosts. So, it's kind of a good safety mechanism to make sure I'm not overshooting anything with my speeds. That can be turned on or off within the options menu. It comes standard on. So, in the beginning, I would suggest not using it at all and just leaving it as is. We will turn. Oh,
Landing complete.
that wasn't that good.
Landing complete.
No, I don't want that. Do a backwards look. Yep, we're good.
Landing complete.
The comma key on a keyboard is your rear view. Just in case you guys are new to the game, maybe didn't know. It was something I just found out like 2 weeks ago. I was always going into, third-person perspective and things like that to
System off.
look and see and judge. But if you're in the cockpit view, just hit comma. Now, a lot of times when you're in a ship and you have the power off, you're going to notice that your componentry is going to be, oh my god, warning, warning, warning. But it's not that. It's just the fact that your power is off, so you don't have power to certain systems. They're hopefully going to clean that up to where, it doesn't beep on just lack of power, but due to actual failure of a component. This is going to be a good time where I can test to see, if that actually changed my pip for my cooling system. Okay. So, where are we now? I forgot to pay attention to where we are. Okay. No target? Why not? Alright, so power off. Power off. Power on. Now we go into turret. No. What are you doing? Okay, now the entire ship is off. Extractor beam. Wing that bad boy. You cannot go into mobiGlas while you're in this. I thought I might have just created an error. But I mean, that's the intent, when a game is in alpha, you want to, ensure that, you give them as much information as you possibly can. on whether or not the game functions properly. Actually, that was what, 3 already, right? What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's go to the actual elevator. Or, you know what? Mobiglast. Will that tell us where we are? We are on Sakura. Okay. So if we are on Sakura, that's going to need 5. So you could do it 2 ways. You could either use the max lift or the... I always tend to have this max lift on me instead of using the multi-tool. The multi-tool I leave on mining, just in case, I'm on a planet, whatever, I want a different game loop, I can, jump right in and, just start mining gems or something on the surface of a planet, pass some time, relax, look at the views. Excellent. Now off to the Grey Cat 4 on Stanton. Last 3 there. But yeah, just to give you guys a quick view of the componentry. You have your power plants, your life support systems, your radar, and your cooler. And then on the other side, you have more components, along with a couple in the back. These right here are fuses. The fuses will blow, and you'll need to replace them. So, it's good to have some extra. I keep them up here in storage here. Along with extra magazines for players that come in. I also have guns on the gun rack for anybody else, and the Cambrio SRT repair stuff. So as you'll see right there, I have the the tractor beam. Ooh, I do not have the repair tool in my inventory. Okay, I'm gonna have to put one in there. Good thing I looked at that. All right. Let's finish this contract out and get paid.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check. Engines are on. Takeoff complete.
Before I go anywhere, let me just verify that. Yep, see, coolers are on, so I don't know why it just randomly turned them off last time. That was odd.
Landing gear raised.
990, so...
Shields are off.
Now, it's not going to let me jump because I'm too low in atmosphere, but... See how it says disabled? But we can still, Your travel speeds are much higher in nav mode than they are in SCM. SCM is meant for combat and things like that. Slower maneuvers, but your nav mode is where you enter your quantum jump, and your maximum speeds are much, much higher. I think the atmosphere in Microtech here, I think it ends around 13. 13K. No? 11K. What was that? Why is that still there? Is that the collect shipment? Yeah, that's the... that's odd.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
I want to check something on my Moby Glass. Okay, got about 3.6 million. After this, I think I'm going to head over and I'm going to head over and go buy the Cutlass Red. I think it's available in Loreville, I want to say. Let's get out of SCM, go back, or get out of nav, go back into SCM, lower our speeds. So on the left-hand meter, you can see where the speed limiter sits for, your SCM mode. That's also how you would set cruise control. The ships do have cruise control. You can hit C and then use your mouse wheel to adjust that up or down. But they do have max cruising speeds in each mode, so you won't be able to, set your cruise control to the equivalent of what it would be in nav. I'm really excited to get the Cuddy Red, because then I can load that out, and even if I die when I'm down inside of an Onyx station because I'm just overwhelmed with enemies, or my fingers freak out on it, because coming from a mouse and a keyboard to, or a controller to mouse and keyboard is, it's a big transition. I'm doing fairly well. I've been playing multiple different games, and just getting the muscle memory from my fingers, trying to do that finger ninjutsu of, X is space break, and, crouching and going prone. Okay, we don't really need to tail it up for this one. It's close enough.
Engines are off.
So, when I was talking about starter ships, like I started with the Avenger Titan, I bought this. This ship can only be done through pledge right now. It will be available with in-game cash as time goes on. They usually wait a couple of months, but this has the big gameplay loop I'm going to be engaging in, for shipping and things like that. And I wanted enough storage and to be able to have something that also had some habitat in it, some ability to bed log. So you can only get this on the pledge store as of right now, but for fitting my gameplay loop and enjoying the game with the starter ship that I had, I spent probably a good 10 hours with the game. And I knew I had liked it enough, so I was comfortable committing to actually buying a ship with real money, because there is going to be insurance in the game. And what that's going to do is, when your ship is destroyed or disabled or you get killed, it's the ability to recover it. And it's going to have lifetime insurance on it, because otherwise when the game does hit 1.0, they're going to have insurance to where, you're going to have to use in-game credits to actually insure your ship. But with a lifetime insurance policy, that's given through the pledge store, that's no longer the case. That is, the ability for me to just always have this ship to always make money. So, when I lose my inventory and, the 3.6 million and the, complete server wipes happen, right off the bat, I am just able to start making money and doing, gameplay loops that are, that are going to get me some income, so I can start getting, ship upgrades and things like that. And then the ability to, like, I'm going to go buy the Cutlass Red right now. I'll end up losing that because it wasn't done through a pledge. So it'll get me the ability to make that money back and to be able to re-get that Cutty Red that much quicker.
Take off complete.
But the Avenger Titan definitely, as far as engaging in gameplay loops, I enjoy it because it's small. I can go do bounty missions. I can go do things. Just hop in it, boom, get there, go. Maybe I need a competent fighter, but not something that I would buy off of the store. Especially in the initial phases of the game. Because once you start making money and you start buying ships with in-game credit, then you're good to go. You start raking in some cash and
Landing gear raised. Landing gear deployed.
no, I didn't want See, I got fat fingers. I went to go hit B so I could go into nav mode there. I still accidentally hit N, which is your landing gear. You'll start to see as we leave atmosphere how much the speed shoots up. There is true weight and heft to being in gravity. It does affect the way your ship. You know, look at my climb speed now. You do have the ability to go around facilities and look at them, so you know, maybe loot them or grab some stuff. After you finish a bunker or something like that, it gives you 30 minutes to run around, but you do eventually have to leave the property, otherwise the turrets will turn on, and you do not want to engage with turrets at all, especially when you're traveling to a place and it says you're trespassing. Try and ride ridges and things like that to keep yourself out of, you know, out of any kind of fray, because it doesn't take long for them to, you know, just tear you apart. Just a beautiful game. Alright, star map. Let's head to Lorville and go buy us a Cuddy Red. I think it's about 2.7, 2.8 million, I want to say. It's going to use 614 of our 3,700. Let's use a quantum fuel. We got plenty of fuel. Alright, let's jump there. So Lorville is a major city that's on the planet of Hurston. Certain cities have sales of different vehicles. There are different prices around. You can find better pricing, but mainly, you know, certain planets only sell certain things too. So. Not every space station or every planet is, you know, the Walmart of the world. Well, you know, not only will they sell you nails and a hammer, but they'll also sell you food. You know, there are specific planets that, you know, that have certain items that are required. Although all space stations, you are able to buy, like refinery type products, like SCU boxes and ore pods and mining attachments and things like that. And you're also able to rent ships there too. So, you know, if you're looking into getting into mining, you could just buy one of the base starter ships, and then I think it's 50,000 in-game credits to rent it for a day, and you'll more than make that back. You'll make that back in the, you know, the first haul that you do, and then everything after that will just be pure profit. So, ships are also rentable. So if you wanted to, you know, try a ship before you know you want to buy it, you can just go to a rental center and you know, say if you want to look at the Cuddy Black, or like I'm going to purchase the Cutlass Red right now, you know, you can rent those things, you know, along with the mining vehicles, the cargo vehicles, you know, fighters. I'm really excited for the Cutlass Red. This is going to allow me to engage more comfortably and confidently in first-person shooter missions. So, I can start doing, Onyx missions because, some of the Wikelo stuff, especially that suit that I want, I'm going to need the Geist armor first to hand into him, along with, I think, key cards. I'm not sure how many. And then, in giving him that stuff, he will in return give me that armor. So it'll use the Geist armor as the base, and then, he'll put his custom crafting onto it. Armors are eventually going to have more attributes than just your temperatures and your damage mitigation. That's all they have right now for the environment and that. So they are going to have specific uses, like flight suits will give you an increased resistance to G-forces, so you won't pass out. Certain suits will give you, faster reaction times. Some will give you the ability to, wall scan and things like that, little perks. And off to Lorville, we will park this bad boy and go get it. I don't know if the stock rolls through. I hope they still sell it here. I think this is where I saw it for sale. I try not to look too many things up. I try to, really press myself to engage with the game and understand it and its mechanics and its world and things like that. Maybe the airport should be in the middle. You also want to familiarize yourself with, where the airports are on certain planets. Like Microtech, it's, off to the side. It's got the blinking towers. This right here, you can faintly see it where I'm heading to right now. You can see the blinking lights in the center. That is the actual airport. Because you don't need, runways or anything like that. So, it can be in a nice compact thing in the middle of the city. Let me go back to SCM mode to speed limit myself. Now, this does have an atmosphere, so landing here will be different than landing, at any other planet or in space on a moon or things like that. So, you have to be mindful of, does your aircraft have VTOL and things like that to combat the forces of the natural gravity that pulls it down. And you can change those modes on some of the ships. This RSI Hermes has auto stability, which makes it very easy to fly. But when when I get the Cutlass Red, it's just gonna be something to do. Oh, there goes a player right there. Let's request a hangar somewhere. What are they gonna give me? As you can see, there are tons of spaceports here. Excellent. Excellent. Look at that right there. A little bit of shader issue here. Put landing gear down.
Landing gear deployed. Warning, leaving safe zone. Warning, System off.
Also, when you're looking at ships, it's very important to know, how many entrances and exits they have. Because, like, if I were to fully load up that cargo area off grid, I'd have no way to actually get back into my ship. If I really packed it, like packed it, blocked it off. So, a lot of ships do have. You saw on the Titan, I could get out through the canopy or through the rear. And this ship has, a very similar thing to where it has an actual rail system with an elevator here, and it is an elevator that does keep the cabin pressurized. You'll see. Oop, I didn't want to do that. Deploy rails. You'll see that the glass canopy will come. That way, you don't depressurize the whole cabin and kill your whole crew. See, I mean, those are the things that this game actually thinks of. And it's very refreshing to me to have a game that's that engaging. Send it back up. Alright. Safely on the platform. So, since this is the first ship I'm actually buying with credits, I believe it's going to be sent to my homeworld of New Babbage. I would believe. The first we'll store. Send our Hermes down. Off to the sales center. Where was that? Where was, up there we go. Thought it was right here. So this is where you can look and preview ships if you're on Lorville. This is one of the more populated areas, so you'll see that the frame rate does dip on it. And I'm running a 5090, so, even for this rig to have dip, there's quite a bit of people here right now, even though you only saw one right there. But everything is physicalized in the game, so everything has to be tracked. Not only is that tracked, but what the player has on them tracked, along with what the ship has inside of it tracked. So there's nesting going on within the code, so it puts quite a bit of stress and strain. He's got on a Pembroke suit right there. That is one of the mining suits for the more extreme temperatures. I might actually buy that. I think I can buy that here, and then I'll load it onto the Hermes and take it home, because there are missions, especially on like Aberdeen, where the temperature is extremely hot, and your standard suits don't have enough mitigation in temperature. Like they're both wearing light armor. I'm wearing heavy armor, and that is also a heavy armor suit, although it doesn't provide, I believe, the damage mitigation that standard heavy armor does. It has a higher temperature. Okay, so that is what a Drake, right? Drake Interplanetary. Drake Cutlass Red. That'll be the one. Purchase ship. Transaction cost confirm. Beautiful. Oh, it's killer. Oh, that's killer. Let's see if we can pick up the Pembroke suit. Where would I be able to buy that? That would probably be downstairs in the refinery. Hangars, bathrooms, commercial flights. So this way, maybe?
Hello.
So we're definitely heading towards the transit system. So, I mean, as you can see, it's not just a, a flight game and planets and things like that. These are all fully actualized cities with, their own, Station, Central Station, TISA Spaceport, to Central Business District, or the Metro Center Spaceport line. You know what?
Trespassing or attempting.
We don't need that suit yet. We're not going to be engaging in too much outdoor mining, especially if I end up earning a whole bunch of credits and grabbing the golem. That is temperature controlled because it's inside of the actual craft.
How are you getting by?
Sometimes I think I'll go.
Also, you know what? I do want to look at something. Yep. I'd put those magazines back in there. Re-up my med pens. And then see if I can pick up some more here. No, we're going to buy one of those. We don't have any single canisters on us. Let's go with personal weapons. Oh, that's all it has. Doesn't have any ammo. Okay. Oh, I picked up one thing at least. I still need the attachment though. Go, Cutlass Red. I'm not going to claim it here, though. I will go back to New Babbage right now and claim that. Because I'm also going to need to buy things to outfit the vehicle. I'm going to have to buy a whole bunch of ammo, extra guns, med pens, supplies, really kit the vehicle out. That way, if I do despawn and say I lose my backpack or, anything I'm carrying, I can just immediately, take from the inventory on the ship with med pens and
Welcome to Onyx Spacing Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
You are cleared for liftoff.
Takeoff complete.
yep, we're good to go. Hey, you didn't. Oh, okay. Joining hangar queue. I was gonna say, hey, you said I'm clear for takeoff, but the door isn't opening yet. So all these hangars are physicalized also. So it's dependent upon how many people are in an area, and you will have queue times to wait for things. Like I had to wait at the terminal to buy the ship, and waiting for takeoff because there's too much airspace. Or if you're coming into land and there is a ship and a person inside of each one of the hangars, and it's exceeded its number, then it puts you in a queue.
Attention, pilot, you are cleared for...
I'm not cleared. What are you talking about? We can get back to New Babbage. We'll equip up, call out the Cuddy Red, and check that ship out. I'm probably going to give a little tour of it first. It's my first time actually owning it, so soak it all in. Kind of get an idea where the components are. Where it does have habitat and med beds and.
Good luck on your travels. As you leave our atmosphere, it's important...
Thank you, Lorville. It was a great stay. Time for me to go home. Yeah, I can tell that that was definitely a highly populated area because on my OBS, it's the only frames I dropped were in there. It was only 122 frames, and I was in there for what, maybe 10 minutes. So, you know, I crank out about completely native resolution, probably about 90 frames. This is a very intensive game. You can still run it on like a 3080, 3090, 4090, things like that. It does not by any means require a 5090. So, if you have a rig that's starting to show its age, it's fine. You can still play it. Just turn some of the stuff down. The Vulkan engine does Vulkan does a very good job. All right, let's go to Microtech.
Shields off. Auto drive is now on.
So we got 38 gigameters till we get there. So now is the time if you guys want to grab a drink or snack, something. Go to the bathroom. You got some time to go do it. Everybody's enjoying the gameplay, having a chill, relaxed time. We know there's lots of content creators out there that mainly focus on high energy, high impact games all the time. Like Battlefields, Call of Duties, things like that. But I've been gaming so long, I don't want to say outgrown because that's not a proper term, but the interest level in that style game has dwindled over the years. I'm looking for immersive gameplay, something to relax to. I have very limited time to be able to play video games on days off or at night. I do have a full-time career, so, and I have other activities that I enjoy doing. As a matter of fact, looking at the time, I'm probably just going to park the ship, pick up supplies, and then probably end the stream here. We're coming up on 2 hours. I need to get some stuff done. But like I was saying before, with insurance on ships, you're not going to have to worry about any of that until version 1.0. So if you do, like I just bought the Cutlass Red, the ship will have full insurance all the way until the game's 1.0 release. So you don't have to worry about spending all the money and then you crash it, it blows up, and oh my god, did I lose all my money? It's not like weapons or anything like that you have in your backpack, where upon death you do lose those. You don't lose your loadout, as far as your armor and whatever you have on you equipped as med pens and things attached to your backpack, but the inventory inside of your backpack and inside of your ship will be lost. I mean, it was a discussion on having that system, so I'm not even sure if they're going to implement it by the time the game releases. But being an MMO, I'd imagine they would, because that would contribute to the economy of the game. And the need to make money and the need to do things. Where's Babbage? Here it is. It's a very ambitious game. Now, a lot of people wonder, oh, the game's been in development for, well over 10 years now. But, I could probably pretty safely say that, at least 2 years of that was knocked off because of COVID. And then this game's, birth started out on the CryEngine, and there was litigation that they'd gone through to secure the basis of the CryEngine, buy it, and then modify it for this game. So, that lawsuit, I believe, was another 2 years, maybe even close to 3. So you can knock 4 or 5 years off the development time of a game. So right at 8 years now, that isn't really too crazy, especially considering the size and scope of this game. It's not like, something that is, a crazy value to say, oh, the game's taken X amount of time to come out. A lot of games, are in development for 7 to 8 years. I mean, look at how long Rockstar takes to, put out their iterations of their games. I think GTA 6 is going to be very interesting. I'm just not sure I'm going to be interested in it. This type of this universe is much more appealing to me. I have played all the previous Grand Theft Autos, so I'm sure I'm going to pick it up and play it. But as far as MMO elements that it's going to have and a persistent universe, we'll see how it is, because the game isn't going to launch with that multiplayer side. It's strictly going to be a single player experience, and then who knows how long it's going to take to to put out a competent multiplayer to that game, and whether or not everyone's purchases are going to carry over. Are they going to allow all the shark cards and money and items and cars and things the people that bought with real world money, or is that it? Whoop, they're just going to wipe their hands of it and be like, okay, all right guys, well, here we go, start all over again. That's a huge contention when when players are playing a game. Get a hangar here first, or what?
Landing gear deployed.
Great. Your vehicle should be all set.
Engines are off.
Oh, you know what I want to do before I forget? I'm gonna get back in the cockpit. I want to do the landing services. I'm gonna need quantum fuel. I like making sure my ships are all topped up and ready. Landing services. Hydrogen. Okay, there we go. Now you can see as you use your ship, like, you know, it has a nice shiny paint on it when you buy it, but if it's not destroyed, you know, when you take it out, it does a crew weathering, which is a really nice touch. You know, it's got a little bit of sandblasting from space dust, a little bit of rust on it, so makes it aesthetically, you know, kind of cool. And the longer you continue with that, the, you know, the more the wear will show. It's a nice little touch. I'll tell you, this game really does impress me with its scope.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Your vehicle, please visit us again.
See, there's certain
Welcome
bugs like
to the
that where,
ASOP
you know,
Your
it
vehicle
won't
has been
immediately
moved to our storage. Please visit us again.
allow you to access your
Goodbye.
terminal, so you just exit. Look at my inventory and see what I actually have in it here to put into the new ship. Weapons, all categories. Okay, we got a couple Karnas, more Karnas, bunch of attachments. Look at ammos. We got C-54 SMG. I know we have one of those. What's that? C-54. Karna rifle batteries. PA-4 magazines. Okay. That is my favorite weapon, so that'll be good. What do we have as far as medical stuff? What foods do we have? Gadgets. That's the mining. It's another mining. Medical attachment. You know what? We can bring over a couple more of our med pens here. Go up and buy some equipment here. They put a mirror right there. Look at that. Isn't that nifty? Oop. Can I actually loot you? No. I've also got to buy some food and drink. We do have a burrito. Yeah, let's do this first. Take our helmet off. Your burrito. Cool. Anything else we want to eat? You know what? Let's eat our second burrito. And then we'll drink water too. We'll top up on everything. That way we can just buy new. Oh, hydration. Let's find a garbage can here.
Ready to upgrade?
Everything good?
Located in the plaza. The factory
Keep up the
has
effort.
all of my
Safety of this
protective
sector is counting on us.
We'll buy some food here, I guess.
From all of us at Microtech, welcome to the new Babbage Interstellar Spaceport. Remember,
Nice
your
choice.
belongings belong to you. Keep a careful watch on all personal items.
Cool.
Microtech, the Empire's leader in cutting-edge technology, where creative innovation meets innovation.
Smart buy.
Remember, your belongings belong to you. Keep a careful watch on all personal items. From all of us at Microtech, welcome to the new Babbage Interstellar Spaceport.
You can buy these plushies too and set them around your vehicle. You know, if you like them. They have a couple different types, I think, yeah.
Why not
With a
rest
snowboard,
in the
holding a
best
snowboard, no
human-friendly
snowboard.
accommodation?
And since it's an ice planet, you know, Microtech.
Hi.
Let's jump on the Metro Loop, go to Aspire. That's where the,
Everything good?
For the latest updates on
that's where our 7-Eleven is. Where we can buy ammo. Hey, what's up, dude? Aspire. And this place has a commons too. You can, you know, for more shopping, clothing, all you know, all that stuff, ship upgrades.
Capsule now approaching station. Stand clear of disembarking passengers. Capsule now approaching station. Stand clear of disembarking passengers. The capsule will be leaving the station momentarily. Careful, doors are now closing. Nearing next stop.
I'll completely
Hey.
What's up with you?
Hey there.
Okay. Let's do personal weapons here. We have C-54. Oh, 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 it froze. Personal weapons. Probably pick up a, you know what? Buy a C-54. Because I have one stowed on my Hermes just in case. I do have extra ammo.
Hi.
I just want to put it in my local inventory here on New Babbage. Let me see if they do have P4s though. That is my weapon of choice. Kill shot ammo. P4 AR mag. Okay, where's the P4? What? You're selling mags? Oh, it froze again. See, this is what the hopefully the next update 4.8 fixes. There's issues within the, what they call the transit system, which is, you know, hangar elevators and things like that. C-54. They don't have the P4 for sale, just the magazines. That's okay, we'll take another 20 of those.
Smart buy.
Those again. Game's been working pretty flawless today, except for right now. Search item name. Let's try P4. Nope, that's all they do have is magazines. Okay, so if we're gonna do personal weapons, and we just picked up one of those C-54, we'll buy the reflex sight
Nice
for it
choice.
too. The ammo. No, we'll buy another one of those. We'll buy
Nice
two.
choice.
And then we'll buy these in mass. Miscellaneous. Need some food. We do need some more med. Oh shit! I didn't want quick buy. I wanted mass buy. We'll buy 10 more of those. We did buy water and a couple of those foods, but we'll buy
Good purchase.
burrito too. Now I should be able to also buy a, what is it, the repair tool. It's mining. That's tractor. We need the Cambrio repair tool. Don't know if they're gonna... You could also buy furniture and things here, and then you can decorate your hangar and things like that. In the meantime, end your ship. In the meantime, until crafting gets, increased, and then, base building becomes a thing. Nope, that's it. Okay. Well, I think we're good then. Let's check our inventory here to make sure all that stuff is in there. You know what we are going to do? We are going to move this over to there. We don't need that that horn. Take that off. Take that off. So it should be on what, page 4 now, since that's the most recent stuff we bought. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now let's go down to the hangar and we'll save and log out for the day. Might be back on tonight. Well, I know I'll be back on tonight. I'm really excited to, engage with the Cutlass Red and do that. It's just, I have stuff I have to get done. Got to go touch some grass, hang out with my dog. Hope everybody's having a good day today. I sure am. It's a day off for me, so... Get in there, make it. Oh, no. Did I want that? Did I want the spaceport? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, I'm super excited now. I can start engaging in more first-person shooter combat, because it's kind of frustrating. You load yourself up with all your equipment on yourself, which you don't lose. But usually in my backpack, I'll bring food and water and X spare magazines and things like that. Just to make sure that I'm okay. And if I happen to die to a bug or something. It's frustrating because then I lose everything in my backpack and it was just kind of wasted money. So, here, at least I can get rid of some of the frustration from spawning all the way back here at New Babbage, and I can just immediately spawn on the Cutty Red, rearm up and go complete the mission, and then loot my backpack that's there and get all the items back.
The capsule will be leaving.
So that is the main purpose for the Cutty being like a daily for my FPS style missions, because each task in this game, you're best serving yourself by bringing the proper ship, the proper equipment, the proper... Yeah, I'm not going in that elevator. That's usually when bugs happen, when an individual comes out of an elevator and you go right back in. Go to the NVIS. New Babbage International Space Station. It's my personal inventory. Pens, couple spare mags, fully loaded out. Yeah, this is what they recently changed with this update. Was it used to be drag, and you had to literally, if I can show you, you see what these magazines are here. You literally had to take your magazines and drag them into those spots, and it was very difficult. So now with this paper system, that you could just plop it in its designated circles, which makes equipping your proper loadout what you want, much better, much easier, much less complicated. What are you doing? You naked boy? What the hell are you doing? Lay off the drugs, man. Drugs kill.
Microtech, the Empire's leader in cutting-edge technology, where creative innovation isn't creating.
And even though it says someone's name on the elevator, it's not true. You'll see you go into the elevator, and right there it has your floor. And if it doesn't show it because there's multiple things on the screen prompt, just scroll your wheel down and it'll be at the bottom. All right. We are in our hangar. Let's make sure our inventory is actualized. 4 pages. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I've got lots of good stuff. Mining modules and things I picked up in my early questing. This is what you saw I just got before. This was from the first Wikelo set, so you can just wear standard clothing when you're out. Probably going to bring that. That's a size 1 suppressor. That's probably going to work well with the C-54. I might switch that loadout for the Onyx. That way I'm not just, lighting up the whole place and they're like, hey, what's going on, Lifeguard refill, actually. I think that's the refill for the, oh, that's a multi-tool attachment. Let me look and see. Where's health stuff? Is that health? No. Slugs, backpack, clothing. Utility, medical. No, that can't be all I have because I just saw the other ones. Like, what are you talking about? Silly. See? How do I have... Let's put the pyro multi-tool. Mining. Extra multi-tool. Plenty of med pens here. Let's take a quick scroll. Got a bunch of arrestor missiles. Size 3s. Clothing, Klarna, C-54. Fuses. That is my... Oh, I forgot I had that. I should probably bring that out on mining missions. Extra drinks here. Stuff I just looked at before. Okay. Alright, guys. I just want to say thank you to everybody watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, chilled out. I had a good time. There's sound in the background, or you're doing something, or you're just making dinner, or throwing the ball around the house with the dog. That's usually what I do with YouTube. I'll put on a content creator and just explore them, look at them. Even if they're a small channel, I don't really gravitate towards the major channels or things like that. I use YouTube kind of as a on in the background type thing, while I'm doing other stuff, or specifically, watching someone's gameplay to decide, if I want to buy a game or, keep up on things. But once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. If you enjoy the content, just give me a like. Maybe subscribe, it's free. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Probably be streaming later on tonight. We'll get out the Cuddy Red there, and then take it out for its first flight, and maybe do an Onyx mission or a bunker. Try and grab some loot. I want to start getting better gear, better things. I have just the basic stuff that you buy from the store as far as heavy armor. I want to start customizing my look and make sure I'm identifiable in the verse. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.